The knitting pattern design business is very Eurocentric, very US centric. Hello fiber friends. In today's video, I'm highlighting some knitting pattern designers from Latin America. So if that sounds like it will be of interest to you, I hope you'll stick around. Hello fiber friends, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host Kristen here at Media Peruana Knits, and today, in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm highlighting some designers from Latin America. I think we can all agree that while we have some standout designers from around the world, the knitting pattern design business is very Eurocentric, very US centric. We do have some relatively popular designers from Latin America, including Joji Locatelli, Mochi Knits, Pao Pereira. However, overall, we are not seeing a lot of patterns from Latin American designers in our feeds, on Ravelry, on Instagram, and YouTube. But that doesn't mean they're not there. And so I thought Hispanic Heritage Month would be a good time to highlight some of them. So I've put together a bundle of 16 designers from Latin America, and today I'm going to highlight about half of them. I'm going to be sharing them with you, as well as one pattern of theirs that I think is particularly beautiful. But I hope you will click through the link in the description box and check out all of these designers. So before we get started, a little terminology lesson. So Hispanic, Latino, they're often used interchangeably. They're very similar, but they don't mean exactly the same thing. Hispanic means of Spanish origin. So people from Spain are Hispanic. People from Spanish-speaking Latin America with ancestors from Spain are Hispanic. People from Brazil are not Hispanic. People from Haiti are not Hispanic. Latino means from Latin America. However, people kind of disagree on what exactly constitutes Latin America. So when talking about Latin America, some people include the Caribbean. Most people include Brazil. There are 3 English-speaking countries in the northern part of South America. Suriname, Guyana, French Guyana, those are generally not considered to be Latin America, but sometimes we include them because we're talking about the region as a whole. So it's a little bit undefined, but for today's purposes, I'm going to be highlighting designers from Mexico, Central and South America, including Brazil, even though Brazil is not technically Hispanic, and we're talking about Hispanic Heritage Month. So Hispanic Heritage Month officially starts on September 15th. The real reason it starts on September 15th is because this is the Independence Day for most of the Central American countries, so it was a significant date. Mexico also celebrates independence in September. The not real reason it starts on September 15th that I tell my husband is that it's because Latinos are late for everything. True or not, September 15th is the date that we start celebrating this month, and that is why we are going to today look at some designers from Latin America. For reasons I don't entirely understand, a large number of the knitting pattern designers in Latin America are from Chile. I could take some guesses as to why that might be, but I don't think that's what we're doing here today. So most of these designers are offering their patterns in both Spanish and English, not all of them. While I do not suggest machine translation for a professional translation, for helping you work through a knitting pattern that isn't in a language that you don't speak, it may or may not be helpful. You just have to give it a try. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. As I said, I'm going to highlight 8 designers, and I'm going to share one pattern from each that I personally like and that I think you will find innovative, interesting, inspiring, etc. So we are going to start with Kate Barrios. Kate Barrios is from Colombia, and she has a catalog of, let's see, a little over 20 designs. And her designer page is available in both English and Spanish, which is true of some, I won't say all, of her patterns as well. So she has designs that really run the gamut. She has been published by Knit Now, I Like Knitting, but most of her designs have been published independently. While I wouldn't identify a specific aesthetic for her, overall, Her designs are not like heavy on lace or color work or anything like that, but they do have a fair bit of texture. She's got shawls and accessories as well as lots of garments. A little tricky to settle on just one, but the design I want to share with you is a semillero sweater. I love this. I love the off the shoulder thing. I love the all over eyelets. This just looks like kind of like a comfy sweatshirt. Love this styling. So as I said, this one is the semillero sweater. This is available on Ravelry for $9 in English, so not Spanish, just English for this one. It comes in 9 sizes and it uses a light fingering weight yarn. So she has used a cotton acrylic, which is going to make this more of a late spring, early fall piece. I definitely think you could do it in a wool or a wool blend, but I do also think that it's going to drape a little bit differently. I bet this would be lovely in the Knitting for Olive cotton merino. Semillero sweater evokes the beginning of all things in spring, as its name means hotbed in Spanish. Simple eyelet stitch pattern covers the whole sweater and gives the sweater a breathy quality to it, making it perfect to wear in spring or summer, worked from the top down with raglan shaping and a wide boat neckline. So she provides lots of information here on the pattern page for this one. It looks like it is very well done. There aren't very many projects. Just a couple on here. As I said, these designers overall are not getting a lot of traction, so you definitely want to check them out. And this one was published back in 2022. But I love that. I think it would be lovely for this time of year. I think it is time we revive the one off-the-shoulder sweatshirt from the 1980s. I think that's something that we need to bring back. So again, that designer is Barrios, and that is the semillero sweater. Next up, we have Carlin Rosas. Carlin is originally from Venezuela. She now lives in Peru. There are quite a number of Venezuelan immigrants in Peru these days because Venezuela is Venezuela. And her username is Lima Lanera, so you may have seen her on Instagram. And her designs, again, really run the gamut. A lot of texture, some brioche, some stripes, lots of garments, a few accessories. But the piece in particular I wanted to show you guys is the top coco sand. I love this. I was really hoping it would come out. It would be published in time for me to knit it for the summer because I had seen her posting about it on Instagram. Unfortunately, it was not, but it is available now, only in Spanish, and not a huge size range on this, so it looks like it's just 3 sizes. But I love the detailing on the shoulders. I love the eyelets on the raglans that travel down the body. Just looks like a really cute piece for warm weather. So the yarn is a sport weight, Pima cotton and rayon. Again, this is going to be a good candidate for plant-based yarns, summery fibers, and no super advanced techniques going on here. So this pattern is available for $7 on Ravelry. So as I said, it doesn't come in a lot of sizes, small, medium, large. So the largest size is only about 41.5 inches. However, you could probably resize this somewhat easily by changing your gauge. It's also a lot of stockinette. So if you want to add sizes, it's not ideal when we find patterns that don't have all of the sizes that we think they should, but if you're a more advanced knitter, you can make changes as appropriate. So again, that is the top coco sand, and that pattern is from Carlin Rosas, Lima Lanera. I would also note that a lot of these size inclusive stuff that we have been seeing here has not necessarily made its way to other places yet. So overall, you may see that some of these designers are using a much smaller size range. All right, next up we have a designer from Mexico, and that is Griselda Sarate. She has a catalog of quite a number of patterns, 26 designs, and she was most recently published by Line magazine. But the one I am going to show you is one that's a little bit older, and that's the Brixie Joy sweater, which was published a few years ago in Modern Cable's collection by Knit Picks. So I think this is really cute. I really like the way that the cables work into the ribbing, but also that the ribbing is very kind of, it's not like a ribbing that kind of cinches in. It's more designed to be decorative than a functional ribbing. So it flares out a little bit, and I think that gives this a really cute look. I especially like the more cropped, so there are two versions of the sweater on the pattern page, and I especially like the cropped one, which is the one I'm showing you here. I just think that is adorable. So that is knit in Knit Picks City Tweed Heavy Worsted, which is an Aran weight yarn. And it is available on their website for $8. And I really love a nice tweed project. So that is just lovely for as we move into fall and winter. So it says it is worked from the top down with a 4x4 rib neckband. So like I said, it's a bulkier rib that is not really designed to cinch in. If you didn't like that aspect, you could probably change it, but then your ribbing wouldn't blend into the cables so much. And the cables are running down the sleeves as well, which I also really like. So again, the Brixie Joy sweater. This designer has also been published by I Like Knitting in the Knitwear Wool Studio, and actually 2 issues of Latina magazine. So for whatever reason, she's not getting much traction, but she has a whole collection of patterns here on her page. A lot of texture, some cables, some brioche, just kind of all over the place and all very colorful. So again, that designer was Griselda Sarate. And then we have our last non-Chilean designer, which is Pao Pereira. Now, I don't speak Portuguese. One of these days, maybe I'll get around to learning that. But the good news is pretty much all of her designs are available in English. So the one I'm going to show you is, absolutely love this one. Like, this might have to jump into my queue. This is the Casadino cardigan. This was published in Latina magazine in 2024, May 2024. I love this. The yarn here is Snifnug. That's okay. By Kama Rose, which is a bulky weight alpaca cotton merino. So it says bulky weight, but you can, just looking at the sweater, you can tell, I think it's like a blown yarn or something. Like, it's very floofy and airy, even though it's a bulky weight. Like, you would not want to get like a 3-ply bulky weight and try to sub that in here. That's not going to give you what you want with this design. Oh my goodness. Oh, and there's an accompanying slip over, which I didn't notice before, but I just love this. So let's see. Textured rib pattern, practical pockets. We all love pockets. Comes in 9 sizes. Yeah, and it says approximately blah, 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 blah of a DK to worsted weight yarn. So even though that yarn is classified as a bulky, you don't actually want a bulky yarn for this. And they do give you some other options if you are looking to substitute. So I really love this. There are 21 of these on Ravelry. They all look beautiful and so cozy. I really like that. I don't know where one might go about procuring Snifnug. I'm sorry, that's funny. But I just love this airy, this texture, the little pocket, the collar. I love the whole thing. So again, that pattern is the Casadino cardigan, and that is available from Latina magazine, or from Latina Publishing. But she has lots and lots of designs. So she has 166 published patterns, and really lots of beautiful texture, cables, a little color work, all kind, like whatever it is you're interested in, you're going to find it here. She's got stuff for kids. She has published with Amirisu, with Brooklyn Tweed, Latina magazine several times. So really, she has lots of designs published all over the place, and I don't think I've ever, seen her trending or anything like that, and I think it's a real shame. So definitely check that out. And I don't own that issue of Latina. I don't own any issue of Latina magazine, I don't think, but I might have to get that. I really like that Casadino cardigan. That pattern is available in English and Finnish, but no Portuguese. So again, that is Pao Pereira from Brazil. As I said, for reasons I'm not going to speculate on, there are a lot of pattern designers from Chile, yarn dyers from Chile. I don't know what's going on over there, but they are sharing some lovely designs with us. So let's jump in and we're going to look at 3 designers from Chile. The first one is Marcela Chang Knits. So I have chatted with Marcela before on Instagram. She is lovely. She has 105 designs in her portfolio. Lots of really beautiful color. Really some very creative color work. Also, you know, just stripes, lace, all kinds of stuff. So she's been published by Latina magazine, but she mostly does independent publishing, and again, lots of garments, but also some accessories as well. So the pattern I want to show you is the River Pullover, which is available in English and Spanish on Ravelry for $9. And I love these cables. So this uses Hudson & West Forge. Hudson & West is going out of business, and I love Forge. It's beautiful. It is just a really springy, bouncy, worsted weight, and that's such a shame that they're going out of business. So that is a worsted weight merino Corriedale blend. You can substitute another worsted weight in here, but it really does just look stunning in this picture. Again, we've got cables blending really nicely into ribbing. We have a very flattering neckline, so it sits very nicely. It's not wrinkling, it's not puckering. Just sits very neatly along the collar, and then just all of these all over beautiful cables that looks like grow from top to bottom. The pattern includes 9 sizes, and yes, it is worked from the top down, shaped with short rows and a circular yoke. So there aren't too many of these projects on Ravelry, unfortunately. As I said, we need to show these designers some more love, so definitely check that out. And overall, if you have, you know, very eclectic taste, because her designs really are, really run the gamut, you know, cables, eyelets, lace, just stripes, everything, whatever it is you like, you're probably going to find it there. So again, that one is Marcela Chang. Next up, we have Melanie Viegas, also from Chile, not, however, from Santiago, but from Bio in Chile. And if you like color work, you definitely want to check her out. Just some beautiful, beautiful color work sweaters, especially. She really has quite a few designs, so 51, and not all of them are color work, but a fair number are, and they're really beautiful. So the one I want to show you is the Espiga sweater. I love not only the yoke, but I love the little polka dots on the body, or whatever we're calling them, flea stitch, lice stitch. I don't know why, it's gross. But they look beautiful in this sweater. I love the floral motif in the yoke. I love it. So that is knit with a DK weight yarn. It doesn't specify a specific yarn. This was just published last month. And it is in English and Spanish. So, however, the pattern page is only in Spanish, but it says that it is knit, obviously, with circular yoke from the top down, contrast color hem and cuffs, and it comes in 9 sizes. And obviously, you're going to have to know how to do stranded color work for that one. There are 12 projects on Ravelry, so you can see this in different, oh my gosh, I love them all. You can see this in different colors. I really just love this one. Even though in general, I'm not a super circular colorwork yoke person, I think this just turned out really beautifully. So that is, again, the Espiga sweater by Melanie Viegas, available on Ravelry. But there are so many beautiful colorwork yoke sweaters here from her. So definitely check that out if you are a colorwork person. Last but not least, we have Maria Jesus Camus. I wonder if that's pronounced Camus or Camus. We're going to assume it's pronounced in Spanish and not French. So Maria Jesus Camus, who is another Chilean knitter and knitwear designer. She has 39 designs on Ravelry, and these are a little bit more eclectic, a little bit more playful, non-traditional, very colorful. I also believe she dyes her own yarns. Let's look at that. Yes, Corralito yarns. Which you can also find on Instagram. Lots of different stuff here, but the one I'm going to show you is Crayola, which was published by Amerisu in February of this year. Love this. It's just so playful, the oversized fit, the different yarns and colors that are mixed together, but very, like nothing is like super bright or anything. I like that. I love the like ruffle coming out from underneath the sleeve, and I love the floaty fit. So that pattern, again, is called Crayola. It's available. You have to buy the whole issue, I assume, which is $25. The whole February issue of Amirisu, which includes 12 patterns. Just, it looks so comfy and floaty and snuggly. I love it. The pattern includes 9 sizes and is available in English and Japanese, of course, because it's in Amirisu. And let's see if there's any here. Okay, knit back and forth from the bottom up, beginning with the ribbed border. An intarsia pocket ribbing, German short rows to shape the shoulders, and pockets are embroidered using duplicate stitch. It's just so darn cute. It does look like a rather involved project, like there's a lot of different pieces to it, but I just think it turned out absolutely adorable, and it looks like just like wrapping yourself up in a fluffy cloud, so I love that. And I think it is pretty indicative of her style overall. So again, that is Maria Jesus Camus, we don't know. And if you like things that are a little bit more out there, you should definitely check her out. She's got some really innovative designs, I think. And she has been published, obviously by Amirisu, by Pom Pom magazine, but most of her designs are independently published. And it looks like available in English and Spanish. Quite a few there that I want to have to double check because they really are very cute. All right, so there you have it. Designers from Latin America. I've highlighted 8 of them, but again, there are 16 in the bundle that I have linked in the description box, and I hope you will check them out. Let's give their patterns a little bit more traction. Try to get some new faces, some new ideas and inspiration and styles and colors into the algorithm so that people are seeing more stuff, not just from the same old designers that we always see. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. If you found it entertaining or interesting or useful in any way, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. New knitting videos here every Saturday. Next Saturday, we are talking about all of the fall 2025 knitting trends, starting off with what's the deal with all the fish. If you're looking for me on social media, you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Media Peruana, and I will see you soon in another video.